Hey everybody, it's been a minute. But I haven't left you. I'm just floating around, taking care of business, handling business and stuff like that. But I felt compelled to come on and speak on a couple things and make note of a couple observations I've had while I'm just observing the world and relationships and interactions between men and women and the whole citizenry as by and large. And that is a lot of people are a fan of toxic love, and it shows. We've had our recent examples. I'm sure we're Will and Jada to death. But the one I want to speak on is the Russell Wilson Sierra thing, and how it still ties to Future and all that stuff. And it speaks to me because maybe because I'm a square. And when you attack a square like Russell, I feel like you're attacking me. What makes him a square? I have no idea. I mean, he's not a hip hop guy. He's not an urban guy. He's not a swagged out guy. He's just a guy who go about his business, taking care of his family. But I guess in our culture, in our society, that make you a square. Whatever. But if you don't know, Channing Crowder on his podcast or YouTube show Pivot called Russell Wilson a square, and chicks like Sierra, if he didn't have money, a chick like Sierra wouldn't get with him. But for one, women practice hypergamy, so being that she has a decent amount of resources, chances are any man she's going to get with has money, because that's the arena she's in. But to get with a guy like Russell, because I guess people look at her track record with the likes of Bow Wow and 50 Cent and Future and stuff like that. Russell Wilson broke the mold of those type of guys. But why isn't that just exhibiting growth? Why isn't that just, okay, learning from my mistakes and looking for something from this archetype, realizing that doesn't work, and really going after the guy or the type of guy who provides what I'm looking for, and that's a sense of family. That's a sense of a peaceful environment, a home, and stability and foundation for the eventual family that I want to have. Why does that make so people villainize her for not wanting to be with that type of guy no more and get with a guy like Russell Wilson? But then they call Russell a square. But how is that square behavior taking care of your family? How's that square behavior having a wife and actually act like you care about your wife? And then they get into calling them a simp. And help me understand what makes him a simp. We all know what a simp is. It's a lapdog, essentially, a guy who pants and pedestalize his woman because he don't have any other options or whatever the case may be. But from the sidelines, from what we can observe, what is the simpish behavior that he has exhibited? He openly loves his wife. He openly talks about his wife. Okay, if you're around me long enough, I talk about my wife. That's just who I live with. So this I'm gonna talk about her. But when do you ever see Sierra out front? I would think a simp would be a guy with a famous person like Sierra, and their whole aura is about Sierra and her endeavors. But that's not the case. She's definitely in the role of Russell Wilson's wife. She's on his arm. She's at his events. She's even calmed down on her sexualized entertainment persona. She still can dance or whatever. That's her calling card. But you don't see her out, half dressed all the time, or still making over sexualized music and different stuff like that. You don't see her making songs like Ride that she made a few years ago. She's talking about Level Up and a little dance that came with it or whatever. That's what you're getting out of Sierra now. When you see her out, she's covered up in gowns, whether it be an award show or any function with Russell or at the White House. She's covered up on his arm. what makes him a simp again? Or is he a simp because he's not uh a player or whatever? It's kind of like, we lose context that she is with the NFL player at the end of the game. She's still with an athlete type guy. It's not like she left that world really and got with a guy who works a 9 to 5. So she's with a football player, but he's not the type of football player you thought she would get. Like, it's kind of like if she got with a guy like Antonio Brown, for an example, that would have made sense for her, I guess. Or that's the type of a ball player that you expect a fellow celebrity to get with. Another person who's reckless, another person who's a loose cannon, another person who can be super demonstrative, another person who through encounters with his child's mom can be demeaning and different stuff like that. That would have made sense for her to give a guy like that, I guess. Somebody who's gonna have them in the news or put their stuff on Front Street all the time through social media. I guess that would have made sense for her to give it a guy like that. But Russ don't do that. He just take care of home, and he's corny. Your toxic is showing. And your love of toxic relationships are showing. He's a black guy. Yeah, he's mixed, whatever. If his father's black, he's black in my book. He a black guy that had a good her. Take care of his family. Maybe it's simpish that he got with the woman who already had a kid. And like I said, maybe that made me a score too, because I got with a woman who already had a kid. But I trust and believe he sets the foundation for his home. They're operating off of his guidelines. Again, you don't see Sierra out front. You don't see it be the Sierra show and Russell just a co-star. You see her on his arm, not him just tagging along, holding the train of her dress. He celebrates his wife because that's his wife. Now, ain't no man perfect. For all we know, they got an arrangement that during season, or when he traveling, or when she out and about traveling, doing whatever she need to do, or he probably have an executive wife. Something, a little dang he got on top. For all we know, we don't know. Nobody's perfect. But for me, being at the top of your game and having your woman on your side is relationship goals. Not all this other stuff that y'all be talking about, all the drama and all the chaos and the toxicity that y'all celebrate. Your toxic is showing.